That midday fatigue and evening bloat may trace back to a stressed liver. Everyday American habits, sugary drinks, fried oils, scorched sauces, quietly raise inflammation and risk. I'll deliver a calm, real food plan to ease the strain and support natural regeneration. I'm going to start with a simple promise. By the end of this journey, you'll know exactly how to use everyday foods to dial down inflammation and give your liver the calm, steady conditions it needs to repair itself. And because tiny details change everything, I'll also share a small bonus later, a bioavailability booster and a quick label reading shortcut that quietly multiplies results without supplements or hype. Keep this in mind as we go. Health is practical, not dramatic, and the method matters as much as the menu. Here's the quiet reality I've seen over and over. You wake up, grab a frosted pastry with a large coffee, work through lunch with a soda at your desk, and round out the day with a drive-through combo or a backyard barbecue drenched in sugary sauce. None of this looks extreme. It looks normal. But that steady drip of added sugars, refined flours, and overheated oils acts like static in the background of your biology, especially in the liver, the organ that quietly sorts, stores, transforms, and ships out what your body cannot keep. The liver is resilient. It can regenerate. Still, regeneration isn't magic. It's a building process, and building requires the right bricks and the right conditions. The first step is to reduce the constant spark that keeps inflammation smoldering. I keep it practical with a three-part approach. First, crowd the plate with natural anti-inflammatory foods, cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts, alliums like garlic and onions, purple-red produce such as blueberries, strawberries, cranberries, and red cabbage, and healthy fats from olive oil, avocado, walnuts, and wild salmon. Second, use gentle heat and simple techniques so those foods keep their protective compounds. A quick steam for broccoli until bright green, garlic crushed and left for a few minutes before it meets warm oil, berries served fresh or lightly warmed, not boiled to death. Third, swap the daily traps that fly under the radar. Trade the bottomless soda for water with lemon, the glazed donut for oatmeal with blueberries and a spoon of plain yogurt, and the sticky barbecue sauce for a lemon herb marinade with mustard and pepper. I know eat better can sound vague, so let me anchor it in actions you can take today. Make a plate that's half vegetables, a quarter protein, and a quarter whole grains or beans. Keep the colors loud. Deep greens and purples show up for a reason. Season with citrus, herbs, and a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil rather than sugary dressings. If coffee is part of your morning, enjoy it in moderation and skip the syrups. Pair it with something stabilizing like eggs and sautéed spinach or a bowl of steel-cut oats. Later, sip green tea or water rather than reaching for another energy drink. These are small hinges that swing big doors. There's another lever most people miss. The way you cook can flip a helpful food into a stressful one. High flames on the grill plus sweet sauces can create compounds your body has to work harder to process. I'm not telling you to give up your backyard barbecue. I'm suggesting you change the method. Marinate proteins with lemon, garlic, and herbs. Keep the flame moderate and avoid charring. Steam or roast vegetables until tender crisp so their beneficial molecules survive the trip to your plate. Now a word about caution, delivered with care. More isn't better, especially with concentrated extracts or teas brewed extremely strong. Natural doesn't mean unlimited. If you take medications or live with a liver condition, professional guidance is essential. Even for healthy adults, portion size and preparation can be the difference between real benefit and an upset stomach or a missed opportunity. That's why I'm intentionally pacing this content. We'll build from simple swaps toward a clear, repeatable routine. And at the end, I'll show you the bonus technique that helps your body actually use what you consume. Let me share one more mindset shift that changes everything. Instead of asking, how do I detox? Ask, how do I supply the materials for repair while keeping inflammation low? When you stop chasing extreme cleanses and start feeding the system, you'll notice gentler digestion, steadier energy, and over time, markers of metabolic health that trend in the right direction. This is not a quick fix. It's a quiet recalibration that respects how your body works. Before we move on, A quick, practical checklist you can try at your next grocery run. Pick up a bag of frozen blueberries, a head of broccoli, a couple of lemons, a bulb of garlic, a small bottle of extra virgin olive oil, and a pack of wild-caught salmon or canned sardines. With those 6 items, you can assemble multiple meals that nudge inflammation down while supporting the liver's workload. No exotic powders required. Keep an eye on labels. Avoid high-fructose corn syrup, partially hydrogenated oils, and ingredient lists that read like a lab inventory. I promised this would stay grounded and safe, and I'll keep that promise. I'm here to help you translate science into a plate you can cook on a Tuesday night. The choices are simple, the payoff is steady, and the margin for error shrinks when you respect temperature, portions, and the source of your ingredients. Stay with me. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just limit your results, it can introduce unwanted side effects. I'll keep the explanation clear and calm so you can act with confidence. After laying that foundation, cleaner swaps, gentle heat, and more color on the plate, let's go deeper into why certain foods are uniquely helpful for a calm, resilient liver. I'll keep it practical and grounded, because the goal isn't a flashy cleanse, it's steady regeneration supported by daily choices you can repeat without stress. Think of the liver as an organized workshop. It receives raw materials, labels them, transforms some, stores others, and safely exports the rest. When the workshop is flooded with sugar spikes, burned oils, and ultra-processed additives, the staff is busy putting out small fires. When the inputs are calmer, the team can focus on repair. That's where 3 families of foods stand out. First, sulfur-rich vegetables from the cruciferous and allium families. Broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, kale, garlic, and onions carry compounds that the body uses to process byproducts of everyday metabolism. The trick is respecting the chemistry. Steam crucifers until bright green and tender crisp, usually just a few minutes, so their helpful molecules stay intact. With garlic, crush or mince it and let it rest for several minutes before it touches heat. That simple pause allows protective compounds to form, and a gentle warm-through preserves them. Second, deeply colored fruits and vegetables, especially purple and red. Blueberries, strawberries, cranberries, beets, and red cabbage bring pigments linked with lower inflammatory signaling. You don't need elaborate recipes. A cup of berries with plain yogurt in place of a mid-afternoon cookie, roasted beets with lemon and parsley as a side, a quick slaw of red cabbage, apple, and a spoon of olive oil. Keep sweetness from whole fruit rather than juices, and watch portions if you're monitoring your carbohydrate intake. Third, sources of omega-3 fats. Wild salmon, sardines, mackerel, ground flaxseed, chia, and walnuts help balance the fat profile of a typical North American diet that leans heavily on omega-6 oils from fried foods and packaged snacks. You can make this shift without fanfare. Swap the breaded chicken sandwich for a salmon bowl. Sprinkle ground flaxseed onto morning oats. Keep a small bag of walnuts at your desk instead of candy. Now, a few everyday beverages and spices that often surprise people. Moderate coffee intake is associated with markers of liver health for many adults. The key is what you add to it and how much you drink. Keep portions reasonable, skip syrups, and pair coffee with meals that contain protein and fiber rather than pastries. Green tea is another calm choice. Brew it warm, not bitter, and avoid concentrated extracts unless your clinician advises them. In the spice cabinet, turmeric and ginger are small but mighty additions. To use turmeric effectively in cooking, stir it into warm oil for less than a minute and finish with a pinch of black pepper. This simple pairing helps your body make better use of it. None of these are magic bullets. They're supportive accents to a pattern of eating that respects the liver's workload. Let's translate all of this into a day you can actually live. Breakfast might be steel-cut oats, stirred with cinnamon and a spoon of plain yogurt, top with blueberries and chopped walnuts. Mid-morning, sip water or green tea. Lunch could be a large salad bar bowl. Kale and red cabbage as the base, roasted beets if available, a scoop of beans, grilled salmon or chicken, lemon for dressing, and a drizzle of olive oil. If you usually grab a soda, choose sparkling water with lime. Dinner can stay familiar. oven-roasted salmon, or a sardine toast with lemon and herbs, plus quickly steamed broccoli and brown rice. If you're in a hurry, canned salmon mixed with mustard and dill makes a speedy bowl over greens. The method remains consistent: moderate heat, colorful plants, and simple acids like lemon or vinegar to brighten flavor without heavy sugar. A few safety notes: keep this grounded and helpful. Natural doesn't mean unlimited. More is not always better. Very strong teas, large amounts of ultra-concentrated spice extracts, or charring food until black can backfire with digestive discomfort or interact with medications. If you live with a liver condition or take prescriptions, personalized medical advice matters. For most healthy adults, culinary amounts, like 1/2 to 1 teaspoon of turmeric in cooking, a thumb-sized piece of fresh ginger, a cup of berries, or a handful of walnuts, fit easily into a balanced day. By now, you can feel the difference between restriction and repair. This approach doesn't ban food groups or promise overnight miracles. It chooses building blocks: sulfur-rich plants, purple-red pigments, and omega-3 fats, then protects them with gentle heat and sensible portions. It's the opposite of dramatic. It's consistent, friendly to weekday schedules, and respectful of the liver's quiet pace. Before we wrap this segment, here's a simple shopping and prep rhythm you can use weekly. Buy frozen berries for budget-friendly antioxidants. Stock broccoli or Brussels sprouts. Grab lemons, garlic, and a small bottle of extra virgin olive oil. Choose canned sardines or salmon for quick proteins, and keep walnuts in a glass jar on the counter. On Sunday or whenever you have time, steam a batch of cruciferous vegetables until vivid, roast a tray of salmon, and mix a lemon mustard herb sauce you can spoon over anything. With these pieces prepped, weekday meals assemble in minutes, and your liver benefits from the calm consistency. Stay with me. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just limit your results. It can introduce unwanted side effects. I'll keep the explanation clear and calm so you can act with confidence. You've already started shifting your plate toward gentle heat, brighter plants, and steadier fats. Now I want to turn up the color, literally. The deeper the shade of your fruits and vegetables, the more likely they are to carry compounds that help calm inflammatory noise and create friendlier conditions for liver repair. This isn't theory you leave on a shelf. It's a simple, repeatable rhythm you can build into a Tuesday night dinner or a lunch you pack for work. Here's the idea in plain language. Color is a clue. Purples, reds, and deep blues are nature's way of telling you there's protective chemistry in here. You don't need to memorize names to benefit, but knowing the pattern helps. Berries, beets, red cabbage, purple grapes, cherries, pomegranate arils, even purple sweet potatoes. These aren't decorations. They're working parts that support the quiet housekeeping your liver does hour by hour. Let's make this real with actions you can take today. Swap the sugary breakfast parfait for a bowl of steel-cut oats topped with a cup of frozen blueberries. Yes, frozen is great. A spoon of plain yogurt, and chopped walnuts. At lunch, build a color-forward salad: shredded red cabbage, kale, roasted beets, sliced apple, a handful of chickpeas, lemon, and a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. For dinner, slide color onto familiar American staples. Taco night? Add a quick slaw of red cabbage and lime. Burger night? Trade the heavy mayo coleslaw for a purple slaw dressed with yogurt, mustard, and herbs. Game day snacks? Blend a beet hummus with lemon and garlic and serve with carrot sticks and whole grain crackers. Cooking technique matters more than most people think. High heat and long cooking times can mute color and dull the very molecules you're trying to preserve. Aim for gentle methods: quick steam for red cabbage until it turns vivid, roasting beets at moderate temperature until tender, and light sautéing when you want warmth without scorch. A splash of acid, lemon, lime, or apple cider vinegar brightens flavor and helps you rely less on sugary dressings. If you like to meal prep, roast a tray of beets on Sunday, steam a batch of cabbage until crisp tender, and store both in glass containers. During the week, you'll only need to assemble. There's a reason I reach for whole fruit rather than juice. When you eat blueberries, strawberries, or cranberries, you're getting not only vibrant pigments, but also fiber that slows the rise of blood sugar and helps you feel satisfied. Juice, even 100% juice, skips that helpful fiber and glides down too easily. Dried fruit can be useful in small amounts, but it condenses sugar into handfuls. Sprinkle, don't pour. If you want a sweet finish after dinner, try a small bowl of berries with a spoon of yogurt and a dusting of cinnamon instead of ice cream or pie. A quick grocery tour makes all of this painless. In a typical U.S. supermarket, the frozen aisle is your ally. A big bag of mixed berries is budget-friendly and available year-round. In produce, grab a head of red cabbage, a bunch of beets, a bag of purple grapes in season, a pomegranate if it's winter, and lemons to tie everything together. If you stop by a salad bar, aim for dark leafy greens as the base, then heap on beets, red cabbage, and a spoon of beans or salmon for staying power. For the dressing, skip the heavy bottled options and squeeze lemon over the top with olive oil. Add a pinch of salt and pepper, and you're done. Restaurant choices add up too. At a diner breakfast, ask for a side of berries instead of hash browns and balance your plate with eggs or oatmeal. At a fast casual bowl spot, choose brown rice or greens. Pile on red cabbage, pickled onions, and roasted beets if they have them. Add grilled salmon or chicken and finish with lemon. Smoothie bars can be sugar traps. Ask for whole fruit only, no juice base. Add spinach for volume and skip the syrups. You'll still get something sweet, cold, and purple, just without the crash. Let me share a little habit I call the color ladder. Each day, commit to one purple or red addition you weren't eating before. Day 1 might be a cup of blueberries at breakfast. Day 2, a red cabbage slaw at lunch. Day 3, roasted beets at dinner. Climb the ladder through the week. It's strangely motivating to watch your meals go from beige to vibrant, and your energy usually follows. If you like lists, keep a running tally on the fridge, 7 days, 7 colorful wins. A few safety notes keep us grounded and sensible. Whole foods are generally well tolerated in culinary amounts, but more isn't always better. Extremely concentrated powders or mega servings can cause digestive discomfort or crowd out other nutrients. If you monitor blood sugar or have a medical condition, personalize portions with your clinician. Choose unsweetened versions of frozen fruit, rinse canned beets to reduce excess sodium, and stay attentive to how your body responds. This is about nourishment, not extremism. One more way to squeeze more help from the same ingredients: pear color with fat and acid. Drizzle a teaspoon of olive oil over red cabbage to carry those helpful compounds. Squeeze lemon onto roasted beets to brighten and balance. Toss berries with plain yogurt to bring protein and a gentler rise in blood sugar. These tiny combinations matter. They don't make headlines, but they make a difference when repeated. You've probably noticed the mood of this approach: calm, consistent, and friendly to a busy American week. No juice cleanses, no exotic powders, no promises of overnight transformation. Just plates that get louder with color and quieter with inflammation. Keep that color ladder going. Keep the heat gentle, and let your shopping list nudge you toward the produce section first. Stay with me. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just limit your results. It could introduce unwanted side effects. I'll explain everything clearly so you can move forward with confidence and comfort. The morning habit most people worry about can, in the right dose and context, be a quiet ally. I'm talking about your daily cup of coffee. When it's enjoyed in moderation and not drowned in syrups, it can fit inside a liver-friendly pattern. The real story isn't about a single beverage, though. It's about how your entire drink routine shapes inflammation, energy, and appetite across the day. That's where a few small shifts can make life notably easier. Let's start with coffee, since it sets the tone for many American mornings. Keep the portion reasonable and keep the add-ins simple. If you love a latte, choose milk or an unsweetened alternative and skip the pumps of flavored syrup. A sprinkle of cinnamon and a splash of vanilla can deliver flavor without a sugar spike. If you brew at home, consider a paper filter. It's a small detail that many people find helpful. Pair your coffee with a protein and fiber breakfast: eggs with sautéed spinach or steel-cut oats with blueberries and walnuts instead of a pastry. When your first meal is stable, your energy is steadier, and the rest of your choices feel less like a fight. Caffeine timing matters for a calmer day. Enjoy your last coffee 6 to 8 hours before you want to sleep. Your liver and your nervous system both benefit from a full night's rest. If you tend to sip coffee all afternoon, try a handoff to decaf or green tea at lunch. That single change often reduces evening cravings and improves sleep quality without demanding willpower. Green tea is the quiet hero of midday. Brew it warm, not bitter. Water just off the boil, a brief steep, then remove the bag or leaves. Keep it culinary, cups, not concentrates, unless a healthcare professional recommends otherwise. A squeeze of lemon and a few mint leaves make it refreshing without sweeteners. Unsweetened iced tea is another simple swap for the noon soda. Add lemon and you'll hardly miss the caramel color and syrup of a fountain drink. If you've relied on diet sodas, experiment with sparkling water plus a splash of 100% juice. You'll get the fizz and flavor with a fraction of the sweet. Hydration is more than a cliché. Adequate water supports digestion and helps you recognize true hunger. Start your day with 2 tall sips of water before the first coffee. Keep a refillable bottle at your desk and set a friendly reminder on your phone if needed. Sparkling water with lime at lunch, herbal tea in the afternoon, and water alongside dinner form a simple pattern that nudges you toward balance without feeling like a chore. Now let's open the spice cabinet, because 2 small seasonings can do a lot of quiet work: turmeric and ginger. In regular cooking amounts, turmeric brings warmth and color. To get the most from it, stir 1/2 to 1 teaspoon into a tablespoon of warm olive oil for 30 to 45 seconds, then take the pan off the heat and finish with a pinch of black pepper. That pairing helps your body make better use of turmeric's helpful components, and gentle heat protects its aroma. Ginger shines freshly grated into dressings, soups, and stir-fries. It's a loyal partner when you want bright flavor without heavy sauces. Here are 3 easy ways to use these accents in everyday American meals. First, make a golden vinaigrette: olive oil, lemon, 1 or 2 teaspoons of turmeric, grated ginger, a touch of mustard, salt, and pepper. Shake in a jar and keep it in the fridge for a week. Drizzle over grain bowls, salads, or steamed vegetables. Second, give your scrambled eggs a turmeric twist by warming the spice briefly in butter or olive oil before the eggs go in. Then add spinach and cherry tomatoes. Third, finish roasted vegetables with a warm turmeric pepper oil. Heat the oil gently with turmeric. Remove from heat, add pepper, and spoon over carrots, cauliflower, or potatoes. It's equally important to notice what gets in the way. Energy drinks combine high caffeine with sugar or intense sweetness. They can drive jittery energy and a crash that makes you over-snack. Sweet teas and sodas deliver more sugar than they feel like they do. Even detox drinks can be misleading when they rely on concentrated extracts or very strong brews. Natural does not mean risk-free. If you're on medications or living with a medical condition, you need individualized guidance. For most healthy adults, culinary amounts of spices and modest servings of coffee or tea sit comfortably in a balanced day. Watch the labels on what you drink. Choose beverages without high fructose corn syrup or partially hydrogenated oils, and be mindful of products with long lists of additives. That doesn't mean you must live perfectly, just that each label is a chance to steer a little closer to the pattern that serves you. A good default is water first, then unsweetened coffee or tea, and if you want flavor, add citrus, fresh herbs, or a splash of real juice. A final rhythm ties this together. Begin mornings with water and a calm coffee. Shift to green tea or sparkling water at midday. Keep a golden vinaigrette in the fridge and a small jar of turmeric pepper oil on the counter, so flavor is always within reach. If you like routine, set a daily window for caffeine and close it early enough for sleep to do its nightly work. If you like flexibility, use the 2 clear drinks for every sweet drink guideline, and you'll naturally recalibrate. I'll end with a gentle reminder. Your beverage and spice choices should make life easier, not more complicated. Aim for moderation, choose simple ingredient lists, and keep heat gentle for the spices that do you favors. The goal is steady support for the organ that quietly supports you. Stay with me. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just limit your results, it could bring side effects you don't want. I'll keep the guidance straightforward so you can use it safely and confidently. If you've been layering color onto your meals and keeping beverages simple and steady, you're already lowering the background noise that keeps inflammation humming. Now we're going to change something that most people overlook: the way heat meets your food. Fire can be a friend or a friction point. The same ingredients that help your liver when handled gently can work against you if they're charred, fried hard, or drowned in sugary sauces. This is not about fear, it's about technique. Quiet, repeatable steps that preserve the good and minimize the stress. Start with fat choices because the oil you cook with sets the rules for heat. Extra virgin olive oil is excellent for low to medium heat sautéing, for finishing, and for dressings. Avocado oil tolerates a bit more heat when you need it. For high heat searing, use restraint. Keep the pan below smoking, preheat patiently, and give food room so it browns instead of burns. Butter brings flavor at moderate temperatures. Consider mixing it with olive oil to widen your margin of safety. Save deep frying and repeated oil reuse for rare occasions. Used oils oxidize and stop being the allies you want. Let's talk about the beloved backyard barbecue. Big flames plus sticky sauces create blackened edges that look appetizing but pile on compounds your body must process. You don't need to abandon the grill, you need a plan. Marinate proteins for at least 30 minutes in lemon juice, garlic, mustard, herbs, and a spoon of olive oil. That light acid and moisture help protect the surface. Wipe off excess marinade before the food hits the grates to avoid flare-ups. Cook over medium heat, lid closed, and finish with a bright sauce after cooking rather than a sugary glaze during. If you crave smoke, use wood chips and thyme, not sugar and fire. Here's a simple thermometer-guided approach that keeps texture and nutrients intact. For salmon fillets, aim for an internal temperature around 125–130 degrees Celsius, 52 to 54 degrees Celsius, and rest a few minutes so they stay silky. Chicken breasts are happier around 160 degrees Celsius, before resting. Thighs can go a bit higher and become tender. Vegetables are best when they keep their snap and color. Steam broccoli until vivid and just tender, then stop the cooking with a squeeze of lemon. When roasting, choose moderate oven heat, 375–400 degrees de force, 190–200 gadiacs, so edges caramelize without scorching. The skillet is another place where small choices pay off. A crowded pan steams, an uncluttered pan browns. Browning is flavor, burning is stress. Heat the pan, add a thin film of oil, and listen for a gentle sizzle when food touches metal. If the oil smokes, reduce heat and start over. Add garlic toward the end so it warms rather than blackens. Stir spices like turmeric into warm oil for less than a minute. Take the pan off the heat, then add vegetables or a spoon of yogurt to create a quick sauce that's flavorful without being heavy. Because life is busy, I like reliable patterns. One I return to weekly is the bacon steam combo. Toss vegetables with olive oil and salt and roast on a sheet pan while a pot of water steams broccoli or Brussels sprouts. In the last 5 minutes, slide in a salmon fillet brushed with mustard and lemon. Everything finishes together, no charring, no stress. Another pattern is the broth first skillet. Warm a splash of broth, add sliced onions and peppers, cover for a quick steam, then finish with a drizzle of olive oil and spices off the heat. You get tenderness and flavor without high pan temperatures. Omega-3s deserve a small spotlight here because they often go missing in a typical North American week. Build them into meals with salmon or sardines twice, walnuts in a small handful most days, and ground flaxseed stirred into oats or yogurt. If fish isn't your thing, canned salmon mixed with mustard and herbs makes a fast salad for sandwiches or bowls. Whatever route you choose, pair these fats with brightly colored plants and a squeeze of lemon. The acid lifts flavor so you lean less on heavy sauces. Seasoning is where many people overdo sugar and salt without realizing it. You can get depth without syrup. Use mustard for bite, lemon for brightness, vinegar for balance, and herbs for aroma. A jarred spice rub can be helpful, but read the label and pick blends without added sugar or vegetable shortening. Make your own rub with paprika, garlic powder, dried thyme, and a pinch of salt. If you want heat, cayenne or black pepper will do the job without sweetness. There's a gentle safety message to keep front of mind. Very high heat, repeated oil reuse, and charred surfaces aren't just culinary preferences. They change what's on your plate in ways your body has to manage. Keep temperatures moderate, watch the color of your food, and remember that moisture is your friend. Marinades, braises, and quick steams give you taste without stress. If you have a medical condition or take medications, tailor these choices with a clinician. Culinary strategies are supportive, not a substitute for care. To make this practical, here's a 5-minute marinade you can memorize. Juice of 1 lemon, 1 tablespoon olive oil, 1 teaspoon Dijon mustard, 2 grated garlic cloves, black pepper, and a pinch of salt. Toss with chicken, tofu, or salmon. Let sit while you prep vegetables. Cook at moderate heat. Finish with a fresh squeeze of lemon. For vegetables, whisk 1 tablespoon olive oil with 1 tablespoon yogurt, lemon, and dill as a cool finish once they've steamed or roasted. As you practice these methods, you'll notice something subtle. Meals feel lighter, flavors are brighter, and your energy is steadier after eating. That's not an accident. It's the result of preserving what helps and avoiding what hinders. Repeat the patterns that work. Moderate heat, moisture, color, and clean fats. Stay with me. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just limit your results. It could introduce side effects you don't want. I'll keep the guidance clear and calm so you can act with confidence. You've gathered the key pieces: colorful plants, steady fats, calmer beverages, and gentle heat. It's time to bring them together into a repeatable plate that supports regeneration instead of chasing a quick cleanse. I promised a practical method and a quiet bonus that makes the most of your effort. You're getting both now, delivered with enough detail to put dinner on the table tonight. Start with a simple framework I call 3-2-1. 3 groups on the plate, 2 tablespoons of a healthy fat across the meal, and 1 primary spice accent prepared correctly. The 3 groups are straightforward. First, a cruciferous vegetable: broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, or kale, lightly cooked so it stays bright and a little crisp. Second, a protein that carries omega-3s or stays light on saturated fat: salmon, sardines, trout, beans with walnuts, or tofu with flaxseed. Third, something vividly colored from the purple-red family: red cabbage slaw, roasted beets, or a cup of berries. Those 3 together nudge down inflammatory signals while supplying raw materials your liver uses for everyday housekeeping. Here's a step-by-step that fits a busy American evening. Heat the oven to 400 degrees, 200 degrees. Place a salmon fillet on a sheet pan. Brush it with a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, lemon juice, and black pepper. Roast for 10-12 minutes until it flakes but still looks silky in the center. While it bakes, set a steamer over simmering water and cook broccoli for 4 to 5 minutes until vivid and tender crisp. In a small skillet, warm 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil over low heat. Stir in 1/2 to 1 teaspoon of turmeric for 30-45 seconds. Then turn off the heat and add a pinch of black pepper. Spoon this golden oil over the broccoli, then finish both broccoli and salmon with lemon. Make a quick red cabbage slaw by tossing thin shreds with yogurt, lemon, a little mustard, salt, and dill. Plate all 3 together. That's the 3-2-1 in action. 3 groups, 2 tablespoons of healthy fat, olive oil, and the natural fat in fish. 1 spice accent treated gently. If you prefer bowls, the same pattern applies. Add a scoop of brown rice or quinoa if you'd like, then layer crucifers, your protein, and a purple-red accent. Drizzle the turmeric pepper oil and an extra squeeze of lemon. If fish isn't on the menu, mix canned salmon with mustard and herbs, or build a bean and walnut bowl with a lemon tahini drizzle. Keep the heat moderate and the colors bright. You're not chasing perfection. You're practicing a rhythm that's easy enough to repeat. Now for the bonus I promised earlier, the quiet multiplier that helps your body use what you eat. When you pair turmeric with a small amount of fat and a pinch of black pepper, you increase the availability of its helpful components in ordinary cooking. You don't need capsules or megadoses. You need warmth, fat, and pepper in the same pan for less than a minute. That's it. A second piece of the bonus lives in the grocery aisle: label triage. When you scan a product, skip the ones with high fructose corn syrup, partially hydrogenated oils, or long lists where sugar shows up in multiple disguises. Those small decisions trim daily background inputs that can nudge inflammation upward. A few guardrails keep this safe and grounded. Gentle heat beats scorched spices. Very high temperatures can dull flavor and bother the stomach. Coffee or tea in moderation can sit comfortably in this plan, but concentrated extracts or extremely strong brews aren't necessary and may not be appropriate for everyone. If you use medications or live with a liver condition, personalize these steps with your clinician. Culinary amounts: 1–2 to 1 teaspoon of turmeric, a thumb of ginger, a cup of berries, a handful of walnuts, fit neatly in most routines. To make this week manageable, do a 30-minute prep session. Roast 2 or 3 salmon fillets or a tray of chickpeas, steam a big batch of broccoli or Brussels sprouts until bright, and shred half a head of red cabbage. Mix a small jar of golden oil by warming olive oil with turmeric and pepper, let it cool, and store it in the fridge for a few days. Now you can assemble 3-2-1 plates in minutes: protein, crucifer, color, plus lemon. If you're packing lunch, stack the components in a container and add lemon at the table so everything stays crisp. I want to leave you with a mindset that makes consistency easier. Don't aim for grand gestures. Aim for quiet repetition. A plate is a decision. When that decision respects color, moderate heat, clean fats, and the simplest label reading, your liver gets an environment where it can do its repair work without drama. You'll feel the difference in steadier energy, calmer digestion, and the way heavy meals stop weighing on your afternoon. If you found this helpful, share it with someone who cooks for you or with you. Save the 3-2-1 framework somewhere you'll see it, and keep a lemon bowl on the counter as a daily cue. Knowledge only changes health when it reaches the kitchen, and your kitchen is ready. I'll keep helping you translate science into simple, weeknight actions you can trust. Stay with me. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just limit your results, it could introduce side effects you don't want. I'll keep the guidance clear and calm so you can act with confidence.